Insidious Chapter 3 stars Stefanie Scott, Dermott Mulroney, and Shaye, and it is written and directed by Leigh Whannell, the guy who was involved in the first two Insidious movies as a writer. He's worked with James Wan on a lot of things, and now it's his directorial debut in this movie. And this movie's a prequel to the first Insidious, and the first Insidious is a great horror movie. I really like it. Does it borrow a lot of elements from Poltergeist now that I've seen it? Yes, you can really spot them, but it's still a very good horror movie. James Wan did a good job at setting up suspense and good scares and not a bunch of stupid crap you see in horror movies nowadays. I have not seen the second one yet. I'm going to rent it and watch it, but I didn't think that having seen the second would affect my viewing of this one since this one's a prequel. As long as I've seen the first, I figure it should be fine, and it was. And this movie is set before the events of the first one, like a few years, I believe. There's a title, like a few years before, and it's the story of a young woman who, through certain circumstances, has become incapacitated and can't really leave her home, and there's a ghost that's haunting her and messing with her, you know, sort of the Insidious. I think it wants her soul, this and that. And yeah, you get another pretty intense, suspenseful horror movie, and yeah, it was intense, suspenseful. It was a very good horror movie, actually. Leigh Whannell, the guy can write the first two pretty good, and directing, I was a little bit worried, like, is he gonna be as good? And it was pretty much as good as the first. He did a really good job. Leigh Whannell did all the good things James Wan did. Very good at setting up suspense, and that's really important because some horror movies just do the constant jump, 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 jump scare. But this one sets up good suspense to drag it out. And although there's a lot of jump scares, yeah, I get it. Something pops up, there's a loud boom in the theater, you're gonna jump because it's just, that's how you react to sound. But it's also scary imagery. A lot of times you watch a horror movie and it's a boom, and it's a fucking cat jumping out of a closet, or a friend sneaks up behind a friend, stuff like that. It's crap. You know what's scary? Being alone in a dark room and then the ghost is right next to you or something. Like, that's scary. So all the jump scares are real. Like, in the first one, in this one, the threat is real. It's not, you're scared by something stupid. You're always scared by something that's threatening, which works. If you're gonna do a jump scare, as long as it's a threat, that's fine. So good suspense, a lot of good jumps in the movie, and the imagery is scary. The ghosts in this movie are pretty creepy looking, and although they never really get explained like the main ghost in that, never really explained who he is, what happened to him, what he wants, and like in the first one they were vague about it, but they sort of explained him. Like Darth Maul and the Veilhead lady, they sort of explain what they were, and this one we didn't even get the sort of vague explanation, so that's not great, but it's still creepy nonetheless. Like, the guy, he's pretty creepy, and if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about when I say he's a nightmare for homeowners or people that live somewhere, because if you want to have a clean house, this guy's a nightmare. He's going to get jam, whatever's on his feet, jam, blood, something, he's going to get it all over your floor, and it's just awful. And the acting in this movie is very good too. Stefanie Scott, she was on Ant Farm, one of those like Disney Channel shows. It's like, oh, she's doing a lot better now, I'll say that. Dermott Mulroney was very good. Shaye, fantastic. She's great in all these movies. She's a very good actress, and she was very good in this. We got a couple other people from the first two Insidious movies back. I won't spoil who they are, what happens in this movie, because it's a prequel, so it sort of sets up where things go that lead to Insidious. Certain things happen. It helps set up the first one. At the same time, though, it creates what I think might be minor continuity problems, and I'll talk about that more towards the end, just a quick spoiler section, because I feel it does create minor issues with continuity. So the acting was good, direction very good, suspenseful, good scares, very good atmosphere, dark and creepy atmosphere, and a good story where it feels very earned that, like, oh, this happened and now she's gonna get tormented by the ghosts. Because in the first one they had that great twist. If you haven't seen it, I'm gonna spoil it right now, but if you have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. Where they're getting terrorized by ghosts and they're like, alright, we're moving out of this house, and they move, and it turns out it's not the house that was haunted, it's their son. Which was a great twist, and it showed that people are smart. In this one, it's not necessarily that, but it's like, alright, this is why she's going to get tormented and not going to be able to do a whole lot about it, because this happens, and because of that, she's incapacitated. We're also kind of, because we're in a theater chair, where are we going to go? A scary scene, are you going to get up and run out of the theater so you don't get scared by the ghost? You could, but you're kind of stuck in the seat watching it unfold as she would be, puts you in the movie a little bit more. Am I overselling it maybe? But it was good, it was scary, intense, and it was a good prequel, a good sequel, and yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. Spoiler time right now. So Veilhead is in this movie, and she was tormenting Josh in the first one, like, what's his name? Patrick Wilson's character. She was apparently, her whole backstory was she was trying to get him because he was able to astral project. She wanted to take over his soul. She was in all these pictures and stuff. Every time they took a picture of him, she got closer. But then Lin Shaye's character, she came in, she helped him forget and suppress her. And then, like, when Insidious happens and he's a grown man, she's back after him again once he knows about his astral projection, this and that. And in this movie, Veilhead's tormenting Lin Shaye, and she's like, the whole story is that every time I go into the further, she's there trying to kill me, and one day she knows she's gonna die from Veilhead. So that makes sense to me because Veilhead would be pissed at Lin Shaye, like, she almost had that little boy Josh, she can astral project, she would have stole his soul, but Lin Shaye got in the way and ruined it. So the fact that Veilhead would then be fucking with Lin Shaye until she went back and found Josh again, that makes sense. Because in the timeline, Josh, little boy, she helps, so Veilhead's after Lin Shaye, and then Lin Shaye kind of embraces a little bit and this and that, always getting tormented. But then Josh in Insidious, like, once he's a man and remembers, Veilhead goes back to him. It makes sense to me. And Veilhead does kill Lin Shaye anyway in the first Insidious movie, so it all kind of wraps up in a way that to me makes sense. But what didn't make sense, and I thought was kind of like, what the hell, it was kind of a jump scare at the end, was when Darth Maul shows up. And, like, he was the demon that lived in the attic of their house, the first house that they lived at or whatever. So the fact that he showed up at Lin Shaye's didn't make sense to me. It was just a jump scare at the end, but still, the logistics of why is he there when he would be over in their attic or whatever, to me felt a little odd. And I also love the part where Veilhead's going to attack Lin Shaye, and Lin Shaye is just like, fuck you, and runs at her and starts kicking her ass. I loved it. It's silly, but it's awesome. Alright, enough spoilers. Those were just things I want to talk about real quickly. And yeah, but this movie, as I said, good horror movie, sequel, prequel, it's all very good. It should have been like, it's a prequel, it's the third in a horror franchise, this could be such crap. New director, not the same guy from the first two, but it all worked. Leigh Whannell did a very good job. This is better than the second, probably. I've heard a lot of people hate the second one. I'll watch it eventually. I would give Insidious Chapter 3 a B+. I thought it was a very good horror movie. Did they completely explain all the ghosts and why they're there? No, unfortunately not. Is there a silly moment or two? Yeah, but I kind of went with it. The continuity, for the most part, makes sense to me. So yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. You got some great performances. Check it out. So comment below, tell me what you thought of Insidious Chapter 3, and what's your favorite Insidious movie? There's only 3 of them, so what's your favorite? And thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.